Satan is my motor. Now that's a song that doesn't pop up in my playlist very much. That's Cake, by the way. So these are my HD600s, which are the tell-all of, hey, do you have a tube amp? You might want to try this. Well, this isn't really a tube amp. It's a hybrid tube amp. For those of you who don't know what the fuck that means, tube amps, like the Mercurius here holds. I think that's the V8 and that's the Mercurius. We'll find out. These tube amps, well, that's a hybrid, and I think that's a hybrid. It might not be a hybrid, but that's a real tube amp. And that's a real tube amp, and that's a real tube amp. Real tube amps, like the Dark Voice, the Solaris, and the Tor Balanced, those are very finicky as far as power. Like the audio valve is 8 watts a channel. That's an incredible amount. And actually the Dark Voice is not that, it's, I think you can do something. I don't actually know the Dark Voice's specs, you know? I've had it forever. But to get a lot of power, consistent power out of a tube amp, you need to have like an absurd $5,000 tube amp. So a hybrid makes sense in the fact that you are getting everything before the actual final amplification stage is tube powered. It's tube draw. The draw on the tube is real, and it can actually twist the sound, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a tube to twist the sound and to sound a little bit warmer, a little bit slower, a little more decay in this. Like, I know what a tube fucking sounds like. Shut up. But a hybrid is there because you need power. And it's weird because things like the HD600s, which are 300 ohm, the higher that number, the harder it's demanding the tube amp work. But it's actually less resistance. It's weird, all right? I can't explain it. I'm not an electrical engineer. And even if I was, you have to be like an on-point electrical engineer because it's feeding back the power faster. I don't know. It's real fucking... It's like if you touch 2 wires together, that's 0 ohms. Well, it's the ohms of the wire. Yet that is the worst thing that you could do to an amplifier. And then 2 ohms is bad, and 4 ohms is bad, and then it goes higher and higher, and it's better for the amplifier, but at the same time, it's more demanding. So to have a hybrid means that you could put on things like planar headphones, which are a low impedance. We're going to stick in the math now. And I don't do math, but all you got to know, planar are usually bad on regular full fuck tube, because planars are very low impedance. These are 300, that's good for tube. These are like 50 or 30, some absurdly low number, bad for tube, because the tube it has nothing to work with. So it just sounds weird. So the hybrid, like the Vali 2 we've got here, we'll plug it into that in a bit, means that it can put out, I'm assuming this is all high gain numbers, in 32 ohm, 1.5 watts per channel, which I believe is the same as, no, people were correcting me about the Heresy and the Magni 3. Those are like 2 watts a channel, something absurd. Like anything over a watt is like, you're fucking good. So 32 ohms, it's 1.5 watts per channel. 50 ohms, which is what the T50 are, those, I'll figure out where they are and be able to point much more efficiently soon enough. The T50 RPs, the Argons, which are 50 ohms, will get 1 watt a channel. Wait, I should have taken on the Argons for this review. No, I'm going to do this. It's fine. Then you have 300 ohms. And usually this number sort of like drops off like severely, like less and less power to the point where it's like 1/10 of a watt. But it's still at 300 ohms has 4/10 of a watt, 400 milliwatts, which is like a lot. When I switch this low gain, I can almost max it out. Then you just lower it, it puts it to high gain because it's a shit product. Of course, the power switch is on the back. I don't care that much on this because you're not putting this at the bottom of a stack, obviously. And it's such a small unit, you can just go... We'll talk about the power connector because it's a weird power brick. But yeah, it has high-low gain. And on low gain, you have to... So I bring it almost to the top and you lower it. And on high gain, I'm at like there. So for like holy shit. So this is a very powerful tube hybrid to run at this sort of ohms loads. I should pull up my 600 watt, 600 ohm H... Okay, we'll do it. This is Z-Review. We stand up and do things. This is what we do here. I got the wall, right? It's not here just for looking. I mean, it is kind of here just for looking. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, shit. That's the foot to a Swan speaker. All right, we'll put you back here. We'll give these a little test, too, just because, you know, I'm thinking what I should have pulled out beforehand. And that'll be the first time I listen to those. I've listened to these two on it, so I understand. But I didn't think about pulling those fuckers out. So let's see, how do I give this the nod? Because shit in 2020 really straightened their act up. I mean, they had a bad run, then an okay run, then a really good run as soon as the Heresy Magni 3 came out. Now they're reviving the Jotunheim 2, which I should be getting one of because I found the contact and messaged them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, this not being a tube does mean you're not getting the full effect of a tube like you would on a full fuck tube, where the actual difficulty of the headphone draws out, draws it out. Let me wait the soundtrack for going. Hold on. Draws it out and gets it all funky and smooth. It's smooth jazzifies everything, especially on the HD600s. If you have a good tube, and what I consider a good tube is an inaccurate tube with funny old 1970s and 50s tubes in it, just fuck, yeah. Shit you can't get with an EQ. The magic weirdness you can't get with an EQ. But for $150, which is what this costs, and it comes with a GE made in USA tube, it's gotta be a vintage tube. They must have got a fuck ton of these vintage tubes. It sounds fucking close, man. It's not quite a tube amp, but of the hybrids I've heard, stock, because obviously X2O, TA10, TA20, TA30, I think there's a TA35 something coming out. This one, by default, without swapping a tube, is probably the most tube-like. Like, I say that pretty astonished, actually, because I didn't think you could do that. I think it's partially the tube, because I'm pretty sure they didn't have these. You could correct me. I'm not a historian of shit. I'm not a shit historian. But the tube, whatever they're giving it to you with, and the new design of this, and the fact that it has the power brick, is a big old fucker down there. And it uses, like, I'm going to unplug this for a split second. I don't want it to go out. It uses a 4-pin to feed power into this. I'm pretty sure the other ones did not use a 4-pin. I don't want that tube to cool down. I want it to stay nice and I was going to say frosty, but that's not the term I wanted to use. I'm actually rather impressed by this. If you can't afford a tube amp, like a legit... Because if you get the Dark Voice, here's the thing. If you get the Dark Voice, which is linked in the description, that's $300, $250 if it's on sale, and then you're not just done, because it comes with cheap Chinese tubes. And so the first thing you could do, and one of the reasons I like the Dark Voice, is it uses only a single tube for the pre and for the stage. I think that's what it is. It's the power in the pre, or the pre and the power stage, and you swap those one at a time until you find something that, like, ooh, that doesn't ooh, that ooze. And I've got some shit in there that only the people on my Patreon know, because those guys are like, hey, buy this, and I did it. And it's like a Gold Lion. I think one's a Gold Lion and one's an old vintage GE. So just like this must be, because GE ain't making tubes anymore, though it would be a pretty profitable enterprise if they did. And this is the cheapest way to get into tubes. And it's a legit way to get, like, it sounds like a tube. What's happening with my HD600s is like, oh, they don't sound the neutral, flat narrowness anymore. They got a little bit more soundstage. They got a little bit more width. They're actually like, they have body to them. It adds body. I know, that's like what a shampoo should do. It would certainly, I wish I had one here. I wish I had a Heresy here, the little Heresy. It would certainly, if you had the Heresy in this, even the Magni 3, although the Magni 3 was on the warmer side to begin with, but it was still a solid state, you would definitely hear a difference if you had them both. If you were just like, you would fucking be like, oh, obviously. And then on the HD600, you have to pick if you want their default sound or this. I can't play too much music because you're definitely hearing it. All right, but now I've explained it about these. So let's unplug this hard audio cable. Actually, no. Let's plug that back in. Let's unplug this hard audio cable from that. Okay. We'll go to these. Oh, and I'm doing a test. I'm testing with these because Tacony sent me a buttload. A buttload is 3 pairs, by the way. A buttload of interchangeable... these are pads for the Aeon series. Now these are the Aeon Open X from Drop, and so the cheapest of the Aeons. They're not quite the Aeon 2, but I really like their sound, and it's like, fuck you, I'll just keep these. That's my outlook on headphones, by the way. That's why I was pimping the what was the, they were the Arias, and then there was the, it wasn't 6XX, what the hell was the equivalent Aria HE1000X things that were on drop. I was like, these are like half the price and they're about 93% as good. I'll take them. So I'm trying out these new pads. Unfortunately, for everybody involved in the headphone industry, Mr. Speakers thinks that glue is the best way to hold a pad on. And I tend to fucking disagree. But these Dakoni ones have this, and they have whatever's on this. This is a stock pad. Is like, all right, that's a little bit tacky. I'm sure you all are aware what the fucking 3M VHB is. So I refuse to pull this off because I'll never be able to take it off again without destroying something. But it just is a piece of plastic in here, and it's so perfectly cut that you could actually just pop it into the rim, it almost form fits the rim to the point where like it doesn't fall out. So I mean, fuck it, I won't glue that in at all. I'll just do that, especially if I have other ones to swap through. We were trying these. These are the perforated ones right now. Back to the... Go to low. I'll tell you this much. It doesn't have a problem powering these at all. None. Maybe not as big a change as the 600s, but that's to be expected. Yeah, I'm on low gain. Near 2 o'clock. I love how I could just, everything there, I could just turn on and run. It's great. Okay. If this gets content matched, I'll be fucking amazed. Oh yeah, it's definitely, there's like, the way I could describe the difference between the A90, and we're actually using the same DAC. I'm using the D90 DAC to feed this from these world's best cables coming from the S of the unit. I gotta get more cables and longer and figure things out. Maybe put DAC outputs here. That'd be awesome. The best way I could describe the difference between what like a very clean, precise amp and this amp is, it brings up like a warm hiss. There's no actual hiss. There's no actual sss, but it feels like there's a lump in the middle of the music. Like a big lump in the frequency response curve. And it's just in the nicest spot. And it's just enough. Like a bass boost won't do this. This is way higher up. It just makes the mid-range feel fuzzy and warm. And this is a pretty, I'd say, cold set of planars in general. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's what a tube should do. A tube should make everything just a little bit more enjoyable by ruining it a little. Just ruin it a little. Just a little. No one wants to see that perfectly symmetrical supermodel. You want something that tits too big, or tits too small, or ass too big, or she's not wearing any clothes, or there's reasons you want to fuck it up a little bit, because this perfect symmetrical robotic beauty is not good. You got to give like a unibrow or something. Some feature that's like, Cindy Crawford's mole makes Cindy Crawford. Anybody remember Cindy Crawford? I feel like that's dating me now, because I remember Cindy Crawford being the talk of the town. And it's like, oh, it's your mole, it's your mole. It's the fact that she's got something on her face that doesn't belong there and it makes her beauty. It's like, that's a tube amp. It does something that's like, ooh, that's wrong. Keep doing that. Let's go back for this song. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a better amp. This is a better amp. The topping, if I don't say the topping A90 is a better amp, then I'm fucking lying to you. But this is a worse amp in the best way. And that's what you wanted of a tube. And the fact that they could harness that in a tube hybrid, more the merrier. Just the better off you and I all are, especially for $150. It's not like you're blowing your entire paycheck on it. I'm sorry, unless your entire paycheck. If your entire paycheck is $150, please say so in the comments and tell us what your job is, and then start a GoFundMe and we will help you out. You know what? When I was doing construction years ago, like I used to work like for a friend who was my father's friend, who was like a foreman on a job in construction. And let me tell you, you would never, ever want to be the guy that has to take the wheelbarrow and stand behind the cement truck while it fills that fucker up, while they're shoveling it in there. Because you know what? They're like, no, we got more. And it ends up weighing like 190 pounds. And then you have to go and traverse like this level of bullshit. And then there's like a gap from the foundation work, and you got to go across a 2x6, because 2x12s, that's unheard of. No, it's a 2x6, and it's a little bit wobbly. And you got to get that fucking thing so you can pour it against the foundation wall. Never want to work. If you think I did this job and it was always a cushy job, no, fuck, I did construction. It sucked. Anyone who did construction knows everything I'm saying is absolutely fucking true. I'm putting it as a high gain, by the way. I don't think there's going to be a reason to even start on low gain. How did I get into that story? $150 a week. I built my first computer with that job. I think my paychecks after 2 weeks was like $650, $700. That's 2 weeks, 5 days a week. So 10 days was like $700. So that means $70 a day. Ugh. I mean, that's $70 a day. Sounds like a good job until you really do the math on like how fucking sucky it was. Then it's like if you said, hey, I'll give you $70 right now for 8 hours, do this. Moving on. Oh, that song just ended. Okay. Oh my, that is very warm. Holy shit. The Corn, Good God, Dub Pistol Remix. I gotta analyze. Oh yeah, we gotta go up, way up. See, that's a pretty powerful amplifier, but I know there's better amplifiers than that. This actually sounds better than the A90. It's completely different. Because, I mean, here's the thing. When you underpower the 880 600 ohm, they tend to hurt you, which is why in my review of them, I'm like, look, don't buy these. Don't fucking buy these. Unless you buy actually that amplifier there. There's the Emotiva A100. It's just sitting on a cooler next to a chest freezer. Just don't question my methods yet. Not there yet. When that's there for 3 years, then you question my methods. But when you power these improperly, the first thing you notice is the treble is murderous. So this is close to, like, this is good. This is good. It's not great. It's good. And I've tested on a couple. I tested on the Rebel amp. The Rebel amp is like, okay, it's only a watt per channel. But this actually, this covers your bases. I don't think it's as good as these can possibly sound. I think we've already established that. But you know what? They sound a little bit like the highs are cut, but the highs are cut a lot. Like it's like, hey, what do tubes do? This is like the stereotype tube of what it does. It just kills all the highs, it makes it all warm and fuzzy. Like you still want to have some detail in there, and this is, they're definitely usable. It just almost sounds like, it sounds like they're muffled, but only above 2,000 hertz. What am I doing? I gotta have this on. I can't. Otherwise, I can't live. I gotta have the VUs dancing. John Wick. I mean, I'll give a couple more shuffles in this, and then I'm gonna be like, no, fuck the Beatles. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, these are a little bit too muff. These are too miffed at the top end. Not muffed, miffed. Do 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 do. That's a better amp than the A90. Heaven today. This is Beck Missing, by the way. Beck mix, fucking great. I don't listen, like if I don't listen to like albums in a row, like after like the first listen, it's just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. But sometimes Beck, Guru, I'll just sort by track fucking number and then the album and then hit play, and it just sort of like there's that mood. That is the most mood. If you ever had to ask me, Zeos, what albums are the most mood? That album. That and like Run the Jewels 3. Run the Jewels 3 is just like a fucking, I'm angry, fuck everything. And then Beck is like, holy shit, am I at a beach Waiter, just Bluetooth speaker and Guero from the beginning. Do it. That's pretty much my dream vacation is Bahamas, trees, drink with a little umbrella, and back. And it sounds. Now I'm just not even reviewing this anymore. I'm reviewing that. But yeah, oh. Oh yeah, it's definitely okay. No, so my slight dreams of like, oh man, maybe I could recommend this or that, dashed, because even though that says like what 300 milliwatts. Do I have a mouse? Do I own a mouse? 200 milliwatts. Yeah, no, I pretty much determined that to make these sound good, you need 400 milliwatts, which is, I think, what that is at 600 ohms. That's an 8 watt per channel. That's a 50 watt per channel at 8 ohms speaker amp. That at 50 ohms is 8 watts a channel, and at 600 ohm is still like 400 watts a channel, 400 milliamps a channel. So I mean, that's why these. And this thing's a $600 Canon IHA6. I don't even know if they sell this thing anymore. I bought this from the guy Joe, who keeps sending me things. I'm like, I need this. Give me this one, because this was the first amp to beat the 789, and it was because it was slightly towards like the warmer spectrum. And now the A90 beat the 789 in its linearity. So now I have them next to each other. And then if you're going full on hog wild, it's Rebel amp. And then if you're going like, holy shit, fuck your face, it's the Liquid Gold X. Because that's the Rebel amp, but balanced, and with his, it's all good. So anyway, this, I'll give this a yes. I'll give this a shining yes. Because it finally, I never took it seriously. I heard the Vali one. Actually, wasn't there another Vali like in the middle? I think there's been 3 revisions of this. You guys can tell me if there's been 3 revisions. But this one actually, there's an obvious change. The way these sound not trebly and shrill is a proof positive that it's not just a weak headphone amp that's not playing it right. There's something physically going on with the draw of the 600 ohm through this. It's like completely just cutting the highs off. Just cutting them off completely. So it doesn't do that with the other headphones, but it softens them in this lovely little way. And that's all you want from a tube. That's all you want from a tube amp, is soften it. Just take the edge off. I'm tired of fucking work and COVID and all this. Just I don't want to hear anything else. Just that. It's fine. For $150, throw it on top of your stack. I actually bought this, you know, like straight up. I didn't even ask shit for it. Because what the hell? That's what the Patreon money's for. Buy it. I wonder if I should keep it. I mean, I already have the X2O TA20 for like my hybrid test, but I'll have to do some A-Bing once I get that rack set up to play all at once. So I can't wait to plug swap you so fucking hard, baby. Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. I have real tube amps. I got buck tons of real tube amps. But if you don't have a tube amp, and you really can't afford a tube amp, you don't want to do tube swapping all day, this, $150. That wallpaper in the description. All wallpapers in the description. Patreon and Subscribe Star. If I decide to sell this unit, it will be in the yard sale, and that comes on the 1st to the 10th of every month. Every $5 patron can participate. You name your own price. I always start at 0, and if you're international, you pay 33% of the shipping until COVID's over, and then I'll pay 50%. But for now, I'll pay 66%, and you get to see these reviews early. So if these are not in stock, I don't know if I'm going to sell out a bunch of them, but I guarantee you my patrons are going to go, huh, you know what? I do need to have like something. This is like the cheapest way to get into tube sound without getting one of those portable like Little Bears. Little Bear portables. I don't know, I have one of those around here somewhere. Those things are like real tube amps, but they're also battery powered and you can't run them while charging them. It's fucking weird. This, perfectly easy, interesting little plug thing. It's shit, so it doesn't look bad. I actually don't even mind the power switch in the back because it's right there. It's like, because you're never going to cover it. It's right there. So yes, thank you very much. Don't forget to check out Hi-Fi Guides, by the way, in the Hi-Fi Guides forum. If you're just in an audio forum that isn't, well, every other audio forum, I run the Hi-Fi Guides forum along with DMS and a team of volunteers who are way underpaid because they're volunteers and therefore they don't get paid anything. But I mean, like the mods and Joe, you can't get better security checking than him. Appreciate it. He does all the updates. Anyway, we're moving on because I gotta go play BeamNG Drive and crash shit. So yeah, wallpaper, thanks to this. Thanks to a couple things I said, probably not all of them. God, the linking, the rewatching and the writing and then the linking is just like the worst part of this, because this is easy. I should just stream all my reviews and then have magic happen. Anyway, we're done here, right? Right? See you tomorrow for a new one. See you tomorrow for a new one. This is a mess.